to affect their oil industry, their central bank, and because we're now seeing noises about them returning to the negotiating table, that it is deeply in everybody's interests, the United States, Israel, and the world's, to see if this can be resolved in a peaceful fashion. And so this notion that somehow we have a choice to make in the next week or 2 weeks or month or 2 months is not borne out by the facts. And the argument that we've made to the Israelis is that we have made an unprecedented commitment to their security. There is an unbreakable bond between our two countries, but one of the functions of friends is to make sure that we provide honest and unvarnished advice in terms of what is the best approach to achieve a common goal, particularly one in which we have a stake. This is not just an issue of Israeli interest. This is an issue of U.S. interests. It's also not just an issue of consequences for Israel if action is taken prematurely. There are consequences to the United States as well. And so I do think that anytime we consider military action, that the American people understand there's going to be a price to pay. Sometimes it's necessary, but we don't do it casually. You know, when I visit Walter Reed, when I sign letters to families that haven't whose loved ones have not come home, I'm reminded that there is a cost. Sometimes we bear that cost, but we think it through. We don't play politics with it. When we have in the past, when we haven't thought it through, and it gets wrapped up in politics, we make mistakes. And typically it's not the folks who are popping off who pay the price. It's these incredible men and women in uniform and their families who pay the price. And as a consequence, I think it's very important for us to take a careful, thoughtful, sober approach to what is a real problem. And that's what we've been doing over the last 3 years. That's what I intend to keep doing.
Sir, if I could just quickly follow up. You might not be beating the drum of war, but you did very publicly say, we've got Israel's back. What does that mean?
What it means is that historically we have always cooperated with Israel with respect to the defense of Israel, just like we do with a whole range of other allies, just like we do with Great Britain, just like we do with Japan. And that broad statement, I think, is confirmed when you look at what we've done over the last 3 years on things like Iron Dome that prevents missiles from raining down on their small towns along border regions of Israel that potentially land on schools or children or families. And we're going to continue that unprecedented security commitment. It was not a military doctrine that we were laying out for any particular military action. It was a restatement of our consistent position that the security of Israel is something I deeply care about, and that the deeds of my administration over the last 3 years confirms how deeply we care about it. That's a commitment we've made. Jackie. Where's Jackie? There you go.
With the news this morning that the U.S. and its allies are returning to the table or taking up Iran's offer to talk again, more than a year after those talks broke up in frustration, is this Iran's last chance to negotiate an end to this nuclear question? And you said 3 years ago, nearly 3 years ago, in a similar one-on-one meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu, that the time for talk, by the end of that year, 2009, you would be considering whether Iran was negotiating in good faith. And you said at that time that we're not going to have talks forever. So here we are nearly 3 years later. Is this it? And did you think you would be here 3 years after those first talks?
You know, there is no doubt that over the last 3 years, when Iran has engaged in negotiations, there has been hemming and hawing and stalling and avoiding the issues. in ways that the international community has concluded were not serious. And my expectations, given the consequences of inaction for them, the severe sanctions that are now being applied, the huge toll it's taking on their economy, the degree of isolation that they're feeling right now, which is unprecedented, they understand that the world community means business. To resolve this issue will require Iran to come to the table and discuss in a clear and forthright way how to prove to the international community that the intentions of their nuclear program are peaceful. They know how to do that. This is not a mystery. And so it's going to be very important to make sure that on an issue like this, there are complexities. It obviously has to be methodical. I don't expect a breakthrough in a first meeting, but I think we will have a pretty good sense fairly quickly as to how serious they are about resolving the issue. And there are steps that they can take that would send a signal to the international community and that are verifiable, that would allow them to be in compliance with international norms, in compliance with international mandates, abiding by the Non-Proliferation Treaty, and provide the world an assurance that they're not pursuing a nuclear weapon. They know how to do it. And the question is going to be whether in these discussions they show themselves moving clearly in that direction.